So I can see more people are still coming in, so we'll wait just a couple of seconds before everybody is there, and then we will start with our webinar. But in the meantime, I would like to tell you good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you come from, where you are connecting from. And today with you will be my colleague Diana Umicevic and me, Emina Ferljak. And we will try to give you as much as possible in these 45 minutes to equip you to understand hate speech, but also to understand what you as individuals, but also as organizations can do to counter this, I would say, menace or this illness of not just 21st century, but something that we are exposed to for very, very long time. But I can see people are still coming in, and we have pretty impressive number of participants, like over 60. This is very nice, and I'm really glad that we have so many people with us, and I hope that the messages that we are going to convey today will be multiplied through you in your own communities. And the number is still rising. And as you know, the chat option is not available, but you always have Q&A option if you have some questions or have some comments on, or you need certain explanation or more elaboration of what we are going to talk about. Feel free to use Q&A. And Diana, I think we can slowly start. And if other people join us later on, we will just tune them in, and hopefully they will be able to pick up from where we are going to be. So officially, I would like to welcome you to this session. As I already said, maybe not everybody heard, my name is Emina Ferljak, and I'm coming from Bosnia and Herzegovina. And today here with you, I'm with my colleague Diana Umicevic, also coming from Bosnia and Herzegovina. And both of us are coming from the same organization, which is called Youth for Peace. It's a youth-led and youth-founded organization that's working mostly on peace building, interfaith dialogue, and youth activism, both in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but also in the Balkans region. But we are also tending to be more international and tending to connect with people all around the world who are sharing similar values as we do. But before we start, I will also give words to my colleague Diana to say a few words before the official hate speech part that we are going to present.
Thank you, Emina. Thank you very much. And thanks to the beautiful number of participants that is rising. We like to see as much, I mean, we're welcoming a lot of participants, and I hope that we will have a rich Q&A part after our session. I hope that we'll have time to answer at least a few of your questions regarding this really important topic, as Emina said. Unfortunately, I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, we have a lot of still a long way to go encountering this really important topic, not just in the Balkans, but also in the rest of the world. I would like to say that we're not just colleagues in the association called Youth for Peace in our organization, but also we're also attending, we're also students of the Master Studies of International Intercultural Dialogue and Peace Building. And this is something that, so we are doing something, we're related to this topic, not just not in non-formal way, but also in the academic way. We're trying to get to know and collect as much knowledge and information possible in order to improve our own skills, but also to be able to help our people, to help our youth in this country, both Bosnia and Herzegovina, both regionally, to help them understand and collect efficient tools to combat problems that our societies are facing almost every day. To start this session, I would just briefly, maybe Emina, if you like, or myself, briefly introduce this this topic. I don't know if we just would like to do it this really informal in order for you to be able to, you know, understand this and to be as much to realize this in an interactive way, so you can get as much as you expected. Also, you will have at the end the possibility to share your experiences from this webinar. But maybe if you just, Amina, would like to say a few words about hate speech and what maybe could the participants expect from it?
So in today's session, first of all, I'm sorry we cannot interact more like with you, but we are also prepared Mentimeter for you with small quiz and brainstorming, and later on, hopefully Padlet, just to see your opinions as well. But this session is going to focus on what is hate speech. We are going to present you some examples, and examples are there only for the educational purposes for you to understand what we mean by when we say hate speech. And we do apologize in advance if you don't feel comfortable with some of the examples that we are going to use, but this is all, as I said, only for the educational purposes. And we are also going to show you ways how you can engage and counter hate speech, and we are going to show you some amazing campaigns and amazing things that people are already doing to counter hate speech in this mostly in the online sphere. But we will be using Mentimeter, so I'm going to share my screen now with you. And for the start, we actually already have one question for you. That we would like you to answer, and we would like to hear your own opinion.
Yeah.
Just a moment. Mentimeter is coming. And Diana, when you see my Mentimeter, just tell me if you see the screen, because okay, great.
Yeah.
I will start with present button. And in order to connect to Mentimeter and to connect here with us, either you can go to menti.com and you can use the code here that is here on the screen, or you can use the QR code here. Just scan it and you will be automatically connected to Mentimeter. We will just give you a couple of seconds, 20, 30 seconds for you to connect. And then I will start with the first slide, where we will be needing your assistance and your own answers. As I said, go to menti.com and put the code 3833 and 4468, or just use the QR code here that is also on your screens. I can see people are already joining. Some are sending us hearts, which is very nice. And more people are joining in. But for the sake of time, I will already start with the first slide. And this is something that is going to be directed to Diana. So Diana, the floor is yours. As soon as Mentimeter starts collaborating with me.
Starts collaborating, yeah. That's right. Well, first of all, I would kindly ask you guys to just do a simple and fast brainstorming regarding the question of hate speech. If it's possible, I would ask you kindly to write down like the simple 3 words that first cross your mind when you hear hate speech. It's simple. There are no wrong answers. Just briefly express your opinion about these 2 words. I hope that some questions or some answers are becoming fast here. Okay, sensitivity. I'll just try to read some of them. Alienation, hurt, you are sad, hurtful, you're ugly. Discrimination, abuse, toxic, angry. I have to move my head. I'm like in the tennis court, like. Okay, toxic, hurtful, sad. Oh my God, abuse, so many, anger, disagreement, irrational. So many answers. Irrational, dumb, feelings, helpful, mean, prejudice, what is this word? Isolation. So many answers. That's great. Hurtful, hurt, very bad, discriminatory, unkind, humiliation, further or something like that. Okay, idiot, depends on the culture. You're fat, unkind, offensive, hungry, okay, disrespectful, bullying, okay, legally not defined. That's an interesting one. Okay, I think that something stopped or your answer just stopped coming. That's great. Thank you all guys for participating in this brainstorming. I could really see, you could all really see a lot of answers. They're all okay, they're all right. There's a lot of things that really cross your mind, and it's beautiful. That's so different. We like different in our work and different opinions, and we really respect them. We would just like slightly try to understand that hate speech, as some of you guys actually said, is not it's not actually interpreted in every country in the same way, right? So in the international level, there are some of the things that could be interpreted as hate speech, but generally we still don't have the real special definition that everybody could stick to and say, okay, this is hate speech, and we could just see that list and check if it's hate speech or not, what we're encountering. So it is really important to understand that hate speech has so many shapes and so many ways of being done, said, posted, shared, etc. We will see that also in the following during this webinar. But it is really important to keep in touch, with all of the not just academical but also non-formal and other ways of encountering it, realizing how important is the information that you share and that you see, especially in the online space, due to the fact that you're all mostly young people, and the online hate speech is one of the most common hate speeches, but not the only one, of course. So really, really grateful for this part, and thank you very much for participating in this brainstorming.
Yes, absolutely. I'm always happy to see what we can actually produce when we work together. And this word cloud is the work of all of us together. And for me, I can see also some examples that you already offered here on this word cloud, but also the words that come to your mind, like hurtful, toxic, offensive, anger, useless, unkind. I can see most of the people put these words because they are the biggest one on the screen. So thank you for sharing this, and thank you basically for making this word cloud possible. But let's say in a few minutes we are going to come to certain let's say criteria for hate speech, because we don't want to give you the definitions. As somebody said, legally defined, it's not, and there is no let's say universal definition of it. Rather, we like to use criteria that can be like a checklist for you for recognizing hate speech. But before that, they're going to have a short quiz. So I do hope you are up for it and you are already all connected. So we are going to just have a short quiz and see what we know about hate speech, or what is new to you. And we are going to learn something through the quiz as well, because that's also one nice way of learning the things. So I'm going to start. So you will have 15 seconds for the answers, and all the answers are multiple choice. So let's see. The players are gathering, I think, slowly. Okay, I can see that. Okay, so many players are there. I'm so happy to see so many people and so many players on the screen. Wow, amazing. So we're going to start with the first question. It's a bit so Let's see. Here comes. Okay. Let me see. Where is the first question? Mentimeter is not always. Okay. Question 1 of 5. And we go with enter. Let us see. You have 15 seconds to answer. What is hate speech? Is it public speech that expresses hatred and incites violence, speech that offends a person or a group of people, or both answers are correct? Okay. Actually, the right answer is the first one. It's a public speech that expresses hatred and incites violence, but later on I will give you a more elaborate answer on this, why both answers are not correct. So let us see who was the first on the leaderboard. Okay, so Homer is the first here. Let's see who's gonna be on the second question. So we go with the second question. And the second question is, which of the following social media platforms are regulating hate speech through community standards? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or the answer is all these platforms. What do you think? Okay. And the answer, the correct one is all these platforms. So most of the people answer it. All of these platforms have community standards. They are more or less the same or similar, but I have to say that Facebook is like on the top when it comes to regulating hate speech, because they have really, really very well elaborated to the deepest, you know, the smallest things about hate speech. And then let us see who was the first. Okay, now somebody else taken the first place, but let's go to the next question. We have to speed up a bit. So what of the following is not hate speech? Anti-Semitism, criticism, or xenophobia? Okay, criticism would be the right answer, because you are allowed to criticize certain concepts, certain things, even certain people, as long as you are not calling for violence, and as long as you are not calling for hate speech, and as long as you are not inciting certain behaviors that are going to be harmful to them. Criticism is allowed. Okay, we are going to skip leaderboard this time and go to the next question. And the next question is, which groups are especially vulnerable to hate speech? Religious and ethnic minorities, refugees and migrants, women, or all of these groups? And yes, all of these groups is the correct answer, but just let me clear, everybody can be a victim of hate speech, everybody can be targeted. It doesn't mean that only these groups are targeted, but these groups are more vulnerable due to the protected characteristics that they have, either being religious or ethnic minority, refugee or migrant, women, etc. So these groups are more vulnerable, but everybody can be a victim of hate speech, just to clear that. And let's go to the last question. Okay, question 5. And the final one. Hate speech leads to hate crime. This is correct, yes, no, or this depends. Like hate speech leads to hate crime. Yes, no, depends. Actually, it depends. Hate speech can lead to hate crime, but not every hate speech leads to hate crime. According to the research, most of the cases of hate crime were preceded by hate speech, but not every hate speech, let's say, things lead to hate crime. And thanks God, it's not like that, because we have so many hate speech happening on the online or offline. But thank God, not everything leads to hate crime, but definitely depends. But the research says most of the hate crime actually was preceded by hate speech, but not every hate speech occasion leads to hate crime. And let us see who won. Who's the winner of the quiz? Leaderboard says, let us see, let us see, let us see. Okay. And we have Yomna Luli as the winner. Congratulations. I don't know who's the lucky winner, but congratulations on that. And unfortunately, we don't have any prize for you except, you know, just congratulating and giving you applause for this. Congrats. Thank you for participating in the quiz. And now we proceed to elaborate on what we talked about. So as I told you, we don't want to give you definition. You can find them on the internet, but there's no universal one. We just want to give you certain criteria that you can use to recognize hate speech. So this criteria says that this is speech that targets either an individual as a member of a group or targets a group. So it's important that there is a certain characteristic of a person why a person is targeted by hate speech. The message expresses hatred. This is very important to know, if something is hate speech. The speech causes harm, and this harm can be either physical, either psychological as well, because everything what we say can manifest in various ways and can actually affect person on a psychological level as well, not just on the physical level. Then this is the speaker intends harm. This intention is not always easy to find or to somehow prove, but there is intention from the speaker to cause harm to the person or to the group of people by saying what he or she says. This is the speech that incite malicious actions beyond the speech itself. Sometimes, as we could see in the last question, hate speech can lead to hate crime. So it's not just that we post something and say you are this, you are that, etc., etc. And then, this can actually cause certain harm to the people, as I said, either psychological, but also physical harm. And some people can actually, make actions because of the hate speech that you spread. This speech is either public. It's very important that the speech is public or is directed at a member of the group. So it's important that it's public, that it's spreading, that more people can see it and more people can react to it. And unfortunately, very often react negatively and use hate speech for certain actions that are not good for the person. The context makes violence possible. This is important to understand because not every hate speech message is going to have the same let's say, consequences in all the contexts. Something that's very relevant for Bosnia and Herzegovina, it's not relevant for Cameroon or for United States or for Germany. There are specific hate speech messages that are contextual and that can cause really big harm when we see them in the context. For example, Bosnia is a post-conflict country, has so many things from the war that are still used and that are very hateful and that can cause harm, but in Germany, they don't mean anything because the context is not this way. And also, the speech has no redeeming purpose. It's important to understand that the speech doesn't have the redeeming purpose. And now, Diana and I will just slowly give you a few examples so you can see them. Diana, just briefly, you can elaborate on this example and I will take another one.
Yeah, just briefly, thank you all guys for asking so much questions in the Q&A part, but I will really try to answer all of them afterwards. So thank you for your patience. Well, as Amina said, there are a few examples that we would like to share with you. This one is posted on social media, which we also already said that is unfortunately, one of the places where we can counter hate speech, where we can see hate speech almost every day. This is a comment from this girl, obviously, yeah, that says, let's all go and set fire in the house where the dirty migrants are staying. Let's catch them while they are sleeping. Yeah, well, as you can see, this is a comment that's obviously hate speech because it's inviting to violence, for violence against the migrants that are, as Amina said, one of the groups that are mostly victims of hate speech. Unfortunately, not just, for example, also in our country, there are a lot of examples where migrants, since the Balkan route is now pretty active, and in Bosnia we have a lot of migrants that are trying to cross the borders with Croatia to enter then the Europe and other European countries, finding their a better life there. But the migrants generally across the world are seen as a threat or something that could maybe endanger people, local people, domestic people. So this is clearly one of the ways of not showing the empathy to the people that are migrating and trying to find a better life elsewhere.
Thank you, Diana. And we have another example. This is like very graphic hate speech. You can see like save the rhino or save the paper. I don't like this word. Not all choices are hard. Why this is hate speech? It's public. It's on Twitter. Everybody can see it. It has a lot of retweets. It has a lot of likes. Then it's actually comparing human beings with the animals, which is definitely sign of hate speech. And then it's very indicative, not all choices are hard. And you can see the button on the rhino and not on a human being. So this is calling for violence, targeting specific group, and somehow comparing people to animals. And this is definitely a case of hate speech. And also it's very public. And we are going to show you one more, but we just have to speed up.
Yeah.
I will just translate you. So it says, does somebody know what to do with all of these migrants? And then you have Hitler. So if you take contextually, and if you see that Hitler did what did during the Second World War, Holocaust, killing of Jews, concentration camps. So this is very indicative, taking the historical context, taking a person that did so many evil in the world, and then asking what we can do with the migrants. So this is obviously calling for violence, putting people in certain boxes and trying to resolve everything with killing them. So this is very much hate speech, and it's not even, it's very graphic. It doesn't need any kind of explanation. And Diana, I will give you the last one.
Yeah.
Just to explain to our dear audience, the severity of hate speech.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, it's kind of divided into two parts. The first one is a sentence posted by a 16 years old on a personal blog, read by very few. It says, immigrants have historically had an evil influence. And from the other side, we have a podcast by Prime Minister posted on all major news sites. And it says actually the same sentence. Immigrants have historically had an evil influence. Well, we can see actually that these are clearly the same sentence. That's the same sentence and the same, intent, right? But the fact is that the importance and the influence and the impact that these words can have and will have, depending on who is directing the hate speech, who is doing the hate speech, who is posting it. If it is posted by a 16 years old on a personal blog read by very few, he has no followers or less followers than clearly a podcast done or interviewed done by the Prime Minister. It has the impact, but the impact is not the same. The impact in the society and in the social media, not just the online of the offline space, of course, is bigger when it's said by the Prime Minister, and having in mind it is posted in all major news sites. It comes to the wider audience. So having this in mind, we also have to keep in mind the person, person who is addressing hate speech, and in which way is he doing that. So the reach of the audience is also really important.
So Diana, what can we do? Because we know what hate speech is. What can we do? Can you tell us a
What
bit
can
more?
we do? Yeah, well, as we already said, there is a great focus on this online hate speech, but we can clearly see it also in the offline space, in the public space, in while the religious leaders are speaking, maybe in some protests, etc., in the news, in the traditional media as well. We have these three magical approaches to reacting to hate speech. Those are deleting, ignoring, and engaging. Well, deleting, you can do something. I mean, delete it and then it disappears, but it disappears only on the space or in the platform, for example. But you can simply delete it because you can actually delete it because deleting it, you don't delete the impact that it already had done in the public or in the media. Ignoring it, it's also a way of facing the hate speech, but by ignoring it, you actually don't do much, having in mind that it still exists and it still has some, followers and people who repost it, etc. And the third thing, and maybe the most effective thing to do, will be to engage. You can try to do so many things while you encounter hate speech as a victim, but also as a person who is um, seeing it and maybe occasionally or by mistake sharing it without actually realizing what can we do. There are some things that we can do in order to engage and to counter hate speech. I will just briefly introduce you to these things. Well, the first thing is you can just giving friendly warning. When it comes especially to the online media, you can just simply call that friend or people that you are friends with on Facebook, or you follow each other on Instagram and other social media, and you just can simply give them a friendly advice. Okay, listen, this is not right. The thing you posted is clearly hate speech, so please be aware of the fact that you may have some consequences for this, and you can get in danger. So please just delete this post and apologize to the people that you addressed the hate speech to. This method generally was shown as really effective, especially when you give this advice by using, the friendly tone, and people will maybe expectedly will give you credit and tell, okay, I'm wrong, just I won't post and share things like that anymore. The second thing you can do is showing and evoking empathy. You can do this in two ways. The first method you can use is to simply try to empathize yourself with the person who is addressing the hate speech. This is shown as more effective. And you can do the second thing that's also available and doable. You can just try to evoke empathy towards the groups or people, individuals who are being addressed by the hate speech. Also, you can do dehumanizing the attacked group. You can just simply tell the people, the individual who did the hate speech, that this is the real person. They have feelings, they have emotions, and they're just like you. They have their things, they have their personal feelings, and you have to be aware of them. Also, you can use humor and satire. It is shown as very effective, especially when you use images to using humor in showing the other way or the other side of this hate speech. You can maybe also embarrass a little bit the person who is doing hate speech. You can also use counter and alternative narratives. That's really, really effective. It's shown as really effective because you can try to see the people the other side of the road or the way of doing things. Fact checking, that is really important. You just have to find the right information, tell the people that the first information that they heard is not the right one, and post the real information and try to reach to as much people as possible in order to see the right information, because from right information people get the news that are realistic. And the last one, but not less important, is reporting. Whether you are people that have faced directly hate speech, or a victim, or you're a person that is witnessing hate speech, you have the right to invite people to protect the human rights, the democratic values of the society, and you have to report it and not not stay quiet at all. Thank you. I'm sorry for breaking a little bit the time schedule.
And it's just important, because I see some questions here, that you understand you definitely, your part is to act and to do something, and your part is to try to change the things. But you also have to know that not everybody is going to be changed. Not everybody is going to react. Not everybody is going to, change his or her behavior. And you just have to know that when you're going in this crusade of countering hate speech, not the whole world is going to be changed. But there are so many people who are in this movable middle, who don't know, should they use hate speech or not use hate speech? And they will see your messages, and they will see, that it's better not to use it than to use it. It's not always very, let's say, recommendable to go to the extremes and talk to the people who are really extreme in this kind. It's very important that you affect the people who are like somehow indecisive and who could be influenced, and it's better to be influenced by you rather than those extremists sharing hate speech. Just to know, not everybody is going to be changed, and just don't overwhelm yourself with that. But now we are going to shortly show you certain campaigns that you can just follow and see, and certain things that people are already doing to counter hate speech. And Diana, just like in 1 minute, get the trolls out.
Yeah, Get the Trolls Out is this really great campaign that's focused on combating intolerance and discrimination based on religion grounds in Europe. It is focused on anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and anti-Christian sentiment. It is really important, it is really active, and it's kind of, as you can see, doing this great work of engagement while using images directly to, show things that also with humorous approach. So it's really great, and if you want to check it out, you can do so.
I am presenting to you Alter Hate. This is a great campaign, not because I worked on it, but this is a campaign that we did, and we decided to root it in the interfaith approach, and we decided to show the alternative to hate speech through getting the different quotes from different sacred texts and trying to influence people in this way and show them from the religious perspective why it is bad and why it is not good to use hate speech. And we did it, and we took 11 different scriptures in 11 different quotes from different scriptures that are all going in the direction against using very bad speech and in the direction of using positive speech and speech that is making people be connected to each other, and good speech that does not intend harm. All of this is available online, and we will send the presentation to the organizers so they can also send it to you as a way that you can also find these examples. So this is the way how to use interfaith approach to counter hate speech. At least this is the way what we try to do. And then we are presenting to you another campaign. It's super small photo, but this is actually the Instagram feed of one campaign. Diana, please briefly introduce people to this one.
Well, our imperative is an online campaign based, of course, on social media that's most used by young people. It is part of the IDO project that we have been implementing as Youth for Peace as an organization. It's an online campaign that focuses on hate speech by creating alternative narratives aimed at young people from the region. It has shown as a really effective campaign. We use these images with the people that were saying different quotes about what their imperative is. The general aim, of course, it's to stop hate speech and to focus on other ways of expressing your opinions on different things. And it contributes, of course, hopefully it contributes to the hate speech, encountering hate speech online among young people.
I could see a question. This is Bosnian, Serbian, Croatian language. So this is the language that we use in our country, Bosnian, Serbian, Croatian. But all of these things that are posted are also in English. So if you go to our profile, if you swipe, you can see them also in English. We did it bilingually, firstly in our language because it's focused on Bosnia and Herzegovina, and then we also did it in English for the broader audience. I can see so many questions, so I'm just going to rush to the last example and try to answer your questions. These are great videos that are actually showing the alternative narratives. The guy who's covering hate speech by the food in Italy, you know, he's using Italian food and he's rooting his counter narrative in the food that everybody likes in Italy and covering all the hateful graffiti that are actually there, very, very real, not in the online space, but outside the world. Look Beyond Borders, amazing video that is showing refugees and migrants as people, not as somebody who's there to steal the jobs, not as somebody who's completely different than us, but people who are just simply human beings and that are connecting with the people who are the hosts in their own countries. Amazing video, I definitely recommend you to watch it. All that we share is great alternative narrative showing, again, the human side of each of us and countering this very narratives that we are so different, that we don't belong to each other, that there are no similar things that we can have. The differences are there and we need to be aware of them. We need to respect them, but also there's so many similarities and this video is showing that. And lastly, the video by Megan Phelps-Ropes, who is the former extremist, the person who hated so much, the person that was spreading hate speech and who got reformed. So it's very important to see and to hear testimonies of people who are former haters, who are former users of hate speech, who show you, you know, how bad it is to have this hate speech and how it affects you on your own personal level. And then how she reformed and how she decided, thanks to the people who were very kind to her on Twitter and who were not blaming, shaming her, telling her she's bad, but actually trying to talk to her and empathizing with her as a perpetrator, and she reformed. So I will definitely recommend you to watch all of these. I think we are like 4 minutes left.
3 minutes,
and 3 minutes.
Maybe you can try
Let's
to answer,
just
maybe.
try to see some of the questions.
Yeah.
Why
well,
do people?
I saw a question. If you
Yeah, Diana, please go.
Yeah. Just I saw a question that a girl was asking, how should we react when a person says something that could be related to hate speech without even realizing, how we can make them realize that? Well, maybe you could try actually simply asking the question, how would you feel when somebody would ask you that or tell you that? How would that leave your heart with? If it provoked bad feelings for you, then it's actually clearly a hate speech, and it has a bad impact also on you. So just ask the persons to really consider what they're saying and try not to offend someone while they're expressing their opinion. Also, I saw a lot of questions regarding, for example, when a responsible person or a person that has a great influence in the society does something that could be related to hate speech. Maybe, in my opinion, it would be great if you have the direct approach to that person, to just try to ask them for responsibility and say, okay, but don't you consider this, the thing that you said, as a possible hate speech? Don't you consider that you may offend someone with the words that you are using to express your opinion? So just please invite them to for responsibility. As Amina said, and I'm really asking you to do this. We're so passionate about things that we do, especially in this field, but please don't feel responsible for every single person. Please don't be feel responsible to changing everybody. It is impossible. I know it sometimes hurts, but do the best in your own little circle of people, teachers, educators, but don't try to convince everyone. It is impossible, unfortunately.
Okay, I am sharing with you your challenge code here. I could see that somebody says that it's not working. I'm just gonna check it out and see if I put the right code on the Mentimeter. So I'm just checking it, but don't forget your challenge code. Don't forget to get your badge, because I know it's very important for you to collect all of these codes. And yeah, I put the correct one. It should be the correct one. So I'm just gonna put it again in the chat, and I do hope that it's gonna work. And again, Elena put it. It's the correct one. I do hope it's gonna work. It's gonna work for you. So I just want to thank you once more. I'm gonna just go to our last slide. which is basically thank you. And I think our session needs to end. It's 11:45 my time. And thanks. And I'm sorry we could not answer all of your questions. It's only 45 minutes here, but feel free to reach out to us if you want to know anything. Or we are available on social media. My name is Emina Fadlak. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and also LinkedIn. The same as Diana, and follow Youth for Peace Bosnia and Herzegovina on our social media. And thank you once again.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for this amazing webinar.